Today in this video, we're going to look at my 1940s issues of Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine. And I got 31 issues from the 1940s. And we'll just take a look at all of them. Now, I bought these at a book sale. Every year, it was like twice a year, a local mall back in the 80s and 90s would have a used book sale. And around 1993, summer of 93, I think it was, I went to the book sale and I noticed they had a bunch of issues of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine, like a ton of them. And as I was going through them, I saw some were from the 1940s. And they were like 25 cents each. And at the time, I was only like, 22 years old, 23 years old. I didn't have a ton of money, so I was looking through the piles trying to get the oldest issues. And I remember at one point, I would see like an issue from 1950 or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, that's too recent. I'll put that back, or 1948. Oh, that's too recent. I'm sticking with the earlier 40s. And so when I got home, it was like a 3-day event, this book sale. When I got home and started looking at the issues, I was like, wow, these are awesome. Now, I had read Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine before. I had even had a subscription to it twice during the 1980s. And I knew I would like them, but I was surprised at how different they were from, in some ways, very much the same, but also they had a little more depth to them, I think. And I'll get to that in a bit when I show the issues here. But so I went back to the book sale, the used book place, and by this point, they had marked down the magazines to 10 cents each. But unfortunately, all the 1940s issues were gone. So I started piling up some of the others. Even like most of the 1950s issues were gone as well. So by this point, it was mostly 1960s and stuff. So I had started making a big pile of 1960s and 70s and 80s issues. And the person at the table was like, we have boxes of these. We'll just sell, if you're interested, we'll sell all of them to you. So I said, how much would that be? And it came to like $15 for, almost every issue from 1961 to 1993. So I got those, home, and I was like, awesome. But I always regretted that I hadn't gotten more of these 1940s issues. Now, just as a point of comparison, these are the two most recent issues of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine that I have. These are from 2018. And I think I bought this at the store when it came out in 2018. As you can see, now they're bi-monthly, and the price is $7.99, although they're thicker than usual. There's an example. There's a Department of First Stories. Every issue, the Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine will have a Department of First Stories, which is for a first-time author, which is a great idea for introducing, new authors and giving an opportunity for unpublished writers to have work published in the world's leading mystery magazine. I don't think they started the Department of First Stories till maybe the very late 40s. So most of these issues, you won't see that. But anyways, back to the 1940s. So back then, the cover price was 25 cents. This is the September 1942 issue. As you can see, the cover has become detached. It says Volume 3, Number 4. This is actually issue number 6. So if you're talking whole numbers, this is issue number 6 of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. It says Editor Ellery Queen, which was two writers, Frederick Dane and Manfred Lee, I believe were the original names. I think Frederick Dane was more the hands-on editor of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. Not 100% sure about that. But anyways, so this is the oldest one I have, September 1942, and it's in a little rough shape. I'm not sure if it's, if the cover detached when I finally got a copy. It's like if it had hung on all those years, and then I get my hands on it, and then it starts falling apart. But this has a radio script, an original radio drama by Ellery Queen. But you'll notice on here, it has a very similar, if you're familiar with the Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine from the old days, you have that little Q symbol to signify the end of the story. And then they'd have a little introduction to a story, and then they'd have the story. So the editorial comment. Now, this looks like it could have been something from the 1960s. It had very much, or 70s, or even 80s. It had that same style for a long time. It looks very much like an issue of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine, even though this is issue number 6. There's the back. There's the little war bonds thing. So now here's the next issue, and that I have. This is May 1943, so we're jumping ahead almost a year. That one was September 42, issue number 6. This one is, I believe it's issue number 10. And it's still bi-monthly at this point. It comes out every other month. And the issues that we'll go through here, I have pretty much, I think, like the next 25 issues in a row with missing only one. So I have up to I have 1940, from May 43 to November 1945, unbroken except for one issue I'm missing. But so anyways, here's May 1943, and the paper on this one is a little better. In fact, I should probably show that table of contents better to give you an idea of the flavor of the issue. Here's another radio drama. Now, as things go along, the introductions will become longer. That was one of the things that was fascinating to me as I started reading these. In fact, there's James Yaffe one. I think this might be his first story. Let's take a look at that. John Dixon Carr was a regular contributor at this time. Where was that? 48, page 48. It says, this story arrived in the mail. This is the first detective story I've ever tried to write. James Yaffe is only 15 years old, in the 3rd year of high school. So this was his first published story, but as far as I know. But yeah, he later became a regular contributor to Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine, EQMM as it's known in abbreviation, and also published writer. I have one of his novels. Let's see, September 1943, so this is the very next issue. And there's the table of contents. Let's see here. After a while, we start, like I said, the introductions are still kind of short on some of these. But the cool thing is that eventually the introduction, it becomes clear that Ellery Queen, the editor, is very much a scholar of the history of the mystery genre. And so old stories will start to be reprinted in here. Things that there'll be essays and stuff. The introductions will start to become longer. This one has like very wrinkly paper, but I think that's how I got it when it came. Now, as you can see, the introduction starts to get a little bit longer there. See if there's another radio play at the end. Another long introduction. Ellery Queen a radio play. This is the January 1944 issue. This one has a reprint, I believe, of a William Faulkner story. Later, though, William Faulkner will submit a story to their contest, which we'll see here in a bit. Here's an interesting thing. So it's SOS, dear reader, if you have any of the following books, will you please write to the editor at once? And these are various old mystery books. Ad for Inner Sanctum Mysteries. There's the William Faulkner story. And, ELLERY QUEEN'S Mystery Magazine, the cool thing about it is because of that editorial point of view, that sort of, it was more of a literary magazine rather than just like a pulp magazine. Because these were coming out, at the time of the pulps. And there's another Inner Sanctum ad. Subscription card. This is March 1944. So this was coming out the same time you'd have these lurid pulp magazines about the mystery genre. But here it was pointing out the literary value of the mystery genre. Really emphasizing that. Well, now here's the thing. The new order of the War Production Board reduces even more sharply the paper to be used by magazines during 1944. So you'll begin to see that the issues start to become thinner because these are pretty thick issues. Again, now you have another very long introduction. The introduction is like half the page. There's also a companion magazine, Mercury Mystery, that is also published by American Mercury that publishes Ellery Queen at this time. So Mercury Mystery, I think there's one called Bestseller Mystery, and then there's another one, Jonathan something Mystery. We'll probably see an ad for that here. Those basically publish one novel, and there might be a short story or two at the very end, but it's basically, they're sort of like pre-paperback books. I mean, paperback books were still being published, but before they really took off in popularity. So just trying to give a flavor of the issues here. Dashiell Hammett story. All right. Try not to do too much damage as I turn these pages that have existed for so long. This is now George Salter did a lot of these covers. People seem to like him and have a lot of respect for his work, but to me they were just kind of boring, cartoony looking covers. I didn't personally really care for them that much. I prefer the later sort of photo covers of the 1950s. Which I'll show in a future video, perhaps. This is the May 1944 issue. Some ads. There's another Dashiell Hammett story. So they would do a lot of reprints of stories that would appear in other magazines, and then old stories that appeared in old publications. Let's see what this. This is an Agatha Christie story. There's another radio play in here, Cabin B13, which I believe was done for Suspense. Yeah, it says here it was a script that was done for the Suspense radio show by John Dixon Carr. Also, I believe the name of a radio series as well. Okay, so now we get into the July 1944 issue. And the issues are a lot thinner now than they were before and seem a little more shorter looking. But that's because of the wartime paper restrictions that they mentioned earlier. There's a James Cain story. Let's see, again, you can see how the introductions are getting a lot longer. And let's see what this... This is another radio play, it looks like. Ellery Queen radio play. This is the September 1944 issue. Another Inner Sanctum mystery. And see James Yaffe has returned with a new story. This is another radio play at the back here. See if I can start the beginning of it. Yeah, another one that was done for Suspense, which was a current radio series at the time. And then we have the November 1944 issue. This one, page number 90, is a reprint of a very old story. Wow, see, here's another big long introduction. And that was the thing that was like, wow, this is some serious, they're really taking this, you know, the mystery genre seriously as an index to previous issues. Another big long introduction. Let's go to page 90. This one reprints an old, see, this introduction takes up almost 2 pages by the editor. And was talking, it's reprinting a story from 1861. That was The Garnet Ring by one M. Lindsay. Was from Dollar Monthly Magazine, May 1961. So, anyways, there'll be lots of stuff like this in the issues, where in future issues as well as it goes along, where they're sort of analyzing the history of the genre year by, you know, decade by decade. In one of these essays, Ellery Queen talks about the pre-Poe period, the Poe period, Poe to pre-Conan Doyle, then there's the Conan Doyle period, and then the 20th century is almost decade by decade after that. So there's another George Salter cover. This is the January 1945 issue. Another Inner Sanctum mystery ad. As you can see, the contributions from writers, you know, Dashiell Hammett, Agatha Christie, Anthony Boucher, Marjorie Allingham, you know, is top of the line. Here's another SOS from the editor asking if you have any of these books. You know, it's like pretty wild that, you know, the editor is very much, it's almost like a research project, you know, to, and again, another, so it's like the life of a bibliographer in the field of the detective story is full of surprises. Death on Pine Street. Well, there's a big long thing over there. But we'll take another, I don't have too much time in this video. It'll take an hour to view all it. Nobody will watch that, but so I want to run through more of these. There, but right now we're at March 1945. A Michael Arlen story. Another James Yaff story. Gay Falcon. This, I think, was the first Falcon story, right? Something like that. Take a look at some more here. July 1945. Again, this one has the cover detached. Another Dashiell Hammett story. And we'll come along here. September 1945. So now at this point, the war is over, and they can start to get some more pages in these things. There's a nice. So it was. The other companion magazines were Bestseller Mystery, Mercury Mystery, and a Jonathan Mystery. Like I said, those basically just published an entire novel, though. I think they might have been condensed or edited. I don't have any of those from the 1940s, though. There's a bibliography of G.K. Chesterton. Again, these pretty amazing stuff. Oh, this introduction is really long. Oh, no, wait. Okay, it's one page there and then almost top of the second page. All right, so November 1945. And this, I think, sort of comes to the end of my consecutive issues. I was only missing one issue between this issue and back in May 1943, the 10th issue. So that was, and here's a short story contest. Another huge, long introduction to a story. You know, it's pretty amazing. Treatise on the trademark. There's the Saint trademark there. Pretty awesome. Anyways, let's get to the next issue. Oh, this is March 1946. And there's the contents of that one. Some more ads. Another huge, long introduction by the editor. Another Dashiell Hammett. Another huge, long introduction to a G.K. Chesterton story. All right, April 1946. There's a Philip Wiley story in there. Rex Stout. Well, this is a review column, I believe, by Howard Haycraft. And this is an ad for Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. They start having famous people sort of recommending it. Prize winners in EQMM's first contest story. So this is the one where William Faulkner came in with second place, you know, to Manly Wade Wellman. This was the results of their short story contest. And so William Faulkner has a story. Now here's the first prize, A Star for Warrior by Manly Wade Wellman. And again, preceded by a huge introduction. May 1946. Dashiell Hammett. More ads. Second prize winner, Manning Coles. Again, a huge introduction. Let's see if this... go to the next thing here. Okay, this is the June 1946. They have the contents right on the cover as well, so you can tell that it's not really trying to appeal to like the typical mystery, you know, lurid cover fan. It's more of a literary thing. Christopher Morley and Howard Haycraft, the judges for the contest. Here's William Faulkner, second prize winner. And let's get to the July 1946 issue. Right here. Inner Sanctum Mystery. There's the contents. Another ad. Another huge introduction. Yeah, it's hard to believe, like I said, these were 25 cents each. Now this one I think I bought later because it has a stamp on the back that this wasn't part of the original ones that I bought back in 1993. I think I got this later on eBay. And there's the contents. Another huge introduction, third prize winner. And here's, now they started putting the numbers on them. So this is number 43. There's the close-up of the contents. And so we jump ahead to June 1947. So that previous issue was August 1946. So I have pretty much a year that I'm missing from 46 to 47. And that was the time, I think, when I was looking through those things at the book sale where I was putting issues back. Oh, that's too recent. The Killers by Ernest Hemingway's in here. let's look at the introduction of the killers. A big reprinted from Men Without Women by Ernest Hemingway, copyright 1927. There's the Ellery Queen's introduction on this side to the story. This cover here was later redone in the 1950s as a photo cover, and I have that issue as well. Again, I'll show that in a future video, but just keep that in mind if you ever refer back to this video. And news on the new Inner Sanctum Mysteries. So this is the July 1947 issue. And story by Jack Finney in there. Another Dashiell Hammett. Another huge introduction to a Dashiell Hammett story. This one's a reprint from 1924. Let's see what that G.K. Chesterton thing was. Anyways, and so now we go to issue number 45. Another Dashiell Hammett story. This one is from August 1947. Here's some more of those testimonials trying to get people to subscribe. And again, it's showing, you know, Ellery Queen isn't just your ordinary, you know, lowbrow pulp magazine. This is a classy magazine. So that's one of the things I think that really makes Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine stand apart, that it was focused on the literary quality of these stories, and especially, you know, at this time, look at these introductions to these stories, really long, much longer than you would see in later issues. And then we have issue number 50 from January 1948. John Dixon Carr novel in there. More of Books Wanted. Another huge introduction. And this is number 52. There's the table of contents right there. Brett Halliday. Let's see, Earl Stanley Gardner. Oh, this is about how they had to raise the price on Ellery Queen from 25 cents to 35 cents. Let's see what the price is on here. I don't see it. Anyway. Introduction to Earl Stanley Gardner story. All right, and May 1948. There's the table of contents. Another huge introduction. January 1949. I only have 3 issues from 1949, and those are my last of my 1940s issues of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. And this is January 1949, issue number, what does it say there? 62. Has an O. Henry story in here. This is another big, long introduction to a Dashiell Hammett story. And then finally, the issues become square bound. So they have spines on them. And they start having photo covers like this. So this is the March 1949 issue. Right there. And then this is the June 1949 issue. There's the table of contents of there, which has an essay in it by Ellery Queen about the history of the mystery genre. This essay is very long. It's an excerpt from a book on the subject. And that's it. Those are my 1940s issues of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. Thanks for watching.